teachers, good afternoon, our students. My name is Richard Nkrumah, as the senior MC just said. There is a debate tries to educate and then it tries to entertain too. Um, please put your trust in who finance. We are not going to cheat anybody. We can say that we are going to exhibit fairness in what we do. So you the students to try and just don't be how do you call it just you just can be you don't have to enjoy no but rather take it that you are coming to lesson. Have a nice day.
I'm called Chumeka Shadrach, available and I'm in Form 3 out soon. Thank you.
Fisher Kezia is my name. I'm in Form 2 at 1.
Please give it up for me.
Of judges, accurate timekeeper, fellow students, co-debaters, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor that I, and the men of family, make the motion. Traditional rulers have no place in modern democratic nation. Mr. Chairman, to start with and erase all the doubts from our listeners, let's kindly take a look at the phrase of the keywords, traditional, rulers, no place in modern democratic nation. Let me briefly open the mind of all listeners on the meaning of the word traditional. It has to do with the coming from a very original source. A ruler is one who is given the mandate by the people and recognized by the people to watch over a society's property. Then no place also means that they are not recognized in the system. Also, democracy means free from dictatorship, equality before the law, and 1992 Constitution of Ghana, Article 272, paragraph B states that, and I quote, chiefs must undertake the responsibility of advising on all matters affecting the country's chieftaincy and customary laws, to undertake a progressive study, interpretation and codification of customary law, and an evaluation of traditional customs that are socially harmful, unquote. Mr. Chairman, another point is the chief or traditional rulers are mandated in modern democracy to maintain the foster peace in the society in Ghana. For example, linking this to the modern democracy, there was an instance in Ghana during the Dagan chieftaincy crisis in 2027, which resulted in killing of Diana Yakubu II and 40 of his elders. This situation was not solved by the modern government, even though they tried to. It was only when the scientific came into the matter to resolve the issue that it was resolved. With this, we can boldly say that chiefs are needed in order to settle disputes in the society. With the peaceful persistence that the chief portrayed in our society, as the one mentioned above, it is known that Ghana is the second most peaceful country in Africa in our current year, that's 2023. Mr. Chairman, again, the traditional rulers also contribute to the educational project in the nation. Through this, the people contribute to the national democracy. Mr. Chairman, let's aid in education contribution. I trust that I've made the House believe that traditional rulers indeed have a place in modern democracy.
I quote, traditional rulers do not have a place in modern democratic nation. Before I zoom into my substantive argument, I would like to throw more light on the two bodies of focus. First of all, traditional rulers. Traditional rulers are rulers selected with accordance to customary usage to wield authority. Democracy, however, is a form of government in which the supreme power is held by the people through elected representatives. In other words, democracy is a form of government that accepts the views and interests of the people. A simple analysis of these definitions implies that traditional leadership and democratic governance have nothing in common. Hence, they cannot coexist. Traditional rulers are embedded in the land and culture of the people. Our modern democracy has divided the state and created the imaginary boundaries we have today as a nation. All that is the second most peaceful country. I tell you that Ghana would be the first most peaceful country if the chiefs are restricted from taking part in modern democracy. It is rather sad that it is these traditional rulers that cause the land and chieftaincy conflict we see these days in our country that lead to the death of hundreds, and also the boundaries created as a result of democracy were necessary for the purpose of ensuring that everyone has a fair share of the nation's cake and promote government at the grass level. Also, involving traditional rulers in modern democracy will result in the slowdown of development and ruin the nation's relationship with a neighboring country. This is because the world has become a global village such that the world is now interconnected. Traditional rulers have got nothing to do with international activities, and if given the opportunity, I believe that their power will be limited drastically in the confines of the country. The chair, traditional rulers over the years have proven to be mere stooges. They can be easily manipulated, as to be seen in the colonial time, whereby the British colonial administration turned the local rulers against the people in the course of their administration. This issue is so deep-rooted in them, affiliating themselves with power parties and pledging their allegiance to them. Hence, it is obvious that traditional rulers can easily be manipulated when given the chance. In addition, traditional rulers have not their respect and place in modern society and democracy as a whole. For a leader to be made to rule in a democratic nation, it has to be legitimate, that accepted publicly by the people. Unfortunately, this is not the case of traditional rulers. Therefore, I conclude that traditional rulers should not be allowed to take part in our modern democracy. Legitimacy is a major feature of democracy. If these rulers are not known by the people, why should they take part in modern democracy? That traditional rulers should never ever take part in modern democracy. Thank you.
Panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, co-debaters, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. I deem it a great honor to be given the opportunity to state my stand for the motion. Traditional rulers have no place in a modern democratic nation. And I, Ms. Fisher-Kezia, as the first supporting speaker, representing the Aveh House, states that the motion mentioned above, I am against it. Mr. Chairman, to set the ball rolling, traditional rulers have a responsibility to be the licensing officers between the people and the government. 23, Article 273, Clause 1 of the 1992 Constitution, and I quote, National House of Chiefs shall have the appellate jurisdiction in any cause or matter affecting chieftaincy, which has been determined by the regional House of Chiefs in the region, from which appellate jurisdiction there shall be an appeal to the Supreme Court with the leave of National House of Chiefs or the Supreme Court, unquote. In modern democracy, every institution and what they do is permitted by the Constitution. And so if the judicial function of the chiefs is permitted to do whatever they like, I think that should be fair.
Mr. Chairman, and panel of judges, my fellow co-debaters, my highly esteemed students, good morning to you once again. I am Philemon Glasser, one of the representatives of Nkrumah House, standing for the motion before the House this morning that traditional rulers have no place in modern democratic nation. Mr. Chairman, as explained by my principal speaker, traditional rulers have a legacy that have greatly degraded the history of independence in our country. And these same traditional rulers have promoted land disputes in our societies.
Very soon we move on to first supporting speaker from Aveh House. Let's wait till the chairman. If the chairman says green light, then we progress. Mr. Chairman, impartial panel of judges, accurate timekeepers, fellow students, co-debaters, ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all. It is a great honor to stand here and speak against the downfalling statement my opponents have made. Mr. Chairman, to start with, I would like to remind our opponents that even the 1992 Constitution of Ghana, which I would like to read or have not read at all, as stated by my colleagues, gives provision for chieftaincy to operate in the societies, and there is a whole minister responsible for that. And I'm speaking about this, bisecting, thinking, resolve, pondering, meditating on this topic. I don't imagine, and I don't see why you can say that the traditional rulers don't have any role to play in the modern democracy. Thank you very much.
My sister and I have been able to convince you against what our opponents have sought to confuse you on. And I quote, traditional rulers have no place in a democratic government. This motion is entirely true. Traditional rulers will slow down developed country. The world is now a global village, and traditional rulers have no place in international politics. To be a little punctual next